Am I the asshole for denying my ex the chance to be a father after he abandoned me and our baby, and now insists on re-entering our son's life 16 years later? Original post, January 19, 2025. Throw away so get your "this is fake because new account" comments out early. I, 32F, had a baby boy when I was 16. Yes, I know how that sounds. No, we weren't careful. Judge me all you want on that front, I've dealt with that for years. Mike, 33 million, was my boyfriend then, and when I found out about my pregnancy, he did a disappearing act with help from his family. Something future college star, something. My parents were always blunt. What happened next was my choice. After a lot of thinking, and deciding abortion just wasn't for me, I respect that right, I'm not here to debate it. It was just not for me. I chose to give up the baby for adoption. My parents knew a super sweet couple that were looking to adopt. We met, and I just knew they were the right people. This turned from a teen mistake to an almost surrogacy. I started homeschooling to finish my education and to have a rest. The adoptive parents were with me for everything and even paid for most of the medical costs. The adoptive mother was a teacher, so she helped me with my schoolwork and to prepare for college. They were present for the birth and I refused to hold the baby. Instead, his actual mother did. And it was just right. I've stayed in the baby's life in a distant position as a special aunt. Well, he's no longer a baby and he knows who I am, but his mom is the same woman that raised him and I continue to be his special aunt. The only change is now he knows who to call if he needs a kidney. His sense of humor is like mine, go figure. We talk maybe once in a blue moon, which in all honesty is the best. He's happy and I don't regret giving him up to have a happy life. For my part, I married 6 years ago. My husband Aaron, 44 million, was divorced in good terms with Bella, 40 million. They have 2 children together. A boy that is 16 and a girl that is 19. Aaron made it clear since we began dating that his kids' approval was important and that Bella was part of his life forever. Not as a spouse but as a friend and mother to his children. I also told Bella and him about my teen pregnancy. Well, to begin with the kids, my stepdaughter and I get along well. She's obviously closer to her mother, but she still does girls' days with me every so often. It's more like friends though. My stepson is incredibly close to me. He calls me his other mom and always asks me to be present for important events. We bonded when his childhood dog passed away, as my cat died about the same time. Bella and I? We're best friends. I know people have complicated relationships with their partner's exes, but we always show respect to each other. I never tried to take her place. I know Aaron and her shared something special long before I was in the picture. That's their history. And I am a stepmom, not a mom. Her place in the kid's life is not up for competition. The reason for this background is that the whole mess with Mike started when I took my stepson to a medical appointment. It wasn't serious, though he did have to use anesthesia. Aaron and Bella both couldn't get the day off. They tried, but their jobs are on call and they cannot easily take time off. So I went on my own to be my stepson's support. I didn't recognize Mike as one of the doctors. His real name, both first and last name, are incredibly common and it has been years. Not to mention my priority was being my stepson's support and everything else was secondary. After my stepson was done, he was a bit out of it as expected. I was setting him up in the car and making sure he was comfortable when Mike came over. He told me he had been thinking about me and our son for so long, and he was glad our boy was okay. It really took me a few minutes for my brain to click on what was going on, and he kept on rambling about apologies and how he wasn't ready to be a father. Blah blah blah. Eventually I just sighed and loudly said, "This is not the baby I was pregnant with. I gave him up for adoption after I gave birth. I am a stepmother." My loopy stepson chimed in with, "Other mom." I had to hold back a smirk to be honest. Mike was stunned by that and it gave me time to catch him up on the important details. I gave up the baby. He knows what happened and why I gave him up. I married a man with 2 children. I am happy and don't want him in my life. And no, I won't give him contact information for the adoptive family. He is 16 years too late. That was the end of it and I got into my car to get my stepson home to rest. Since then Mike found me on social media and has been painting this sob story about me denying him a chance to be a father. How I was a poor mother that threw away her child to raise someone else's children. I'm basically the she-devil apparently. Most of our former classmates that saw the post reminded him that he left me. Some of his HS friends even pointed out he laughed about leaving me pregnant. I didn't know that part. A few of his relatives have reached out to bash me about taking Mike's chance to be a father. That it made me a poor Christian. I'm not. I'm Jewish to begin with. A few friends did tell me it was a bitch move to give the baby up without telling Mike. I don't personally think I was in the wrong, but in case I decided to leave the judgment to the internet masses. So, Reddit, AITA? Clearing something out. The adoptive parents and bio child have a phone number to contact Mike's parents if they want. I have no say if they do or not. I just won't give Mike any information on them. Some of OP's comments. Commenter, NTA hi, therapist here. Seems like it was the right decision for everyone involved. Especially Mike, who clearly shouldn't be anywhere near children given his full lack of impulse control and empathy. As a fellow Jewish lady, I recommend laughing at the poor Christian comments. OP, my mom loves them. I'm in a mixed household with dad being Jewish and mom being Catholic. My mom laughs every time I get a new one the hardest. Commenter, I mean, they can be really funny depending on who's saying it. Also, who are these friends calling you a bitch? They don't sound like friends. OP. They are more conservative friends. I say friend loosely. We're in the same groups. Commenter. These people are fucking psycho. Block block block. Your bio kid might decide for himself to try and find his bio dad one day, but it's your job to defend his privacy until then. And make sure his decision is informed. He knows that his bio dad is a complete ass. OP. I told him everything when his parents decided it was time to tell him who I was really. I didn't make Mike into a villain, just said he left after I told him I was pregnant and never reached out. He's been clear that while I am his biological mother and Mike is his biological father, he doesn't see either of us as parents. I am his aunt and Mike is a stranger. Commenter. Anta. TF. Also, I'm not judging you for the age gap, but I'm definitely judging Mike. Tell him if he and his friends don't leave you alone that you'll report him to the medical board. Also, maybe ask your son if he wants Mike's contact info, but warn the parents he's bad news. It's your birthday song choice, not yours. Editor's note. This commenter thought Mike was 33 when OOP was 16. He was 17 and OOP clarified that later. OOP. He's had Mike's info for years. Mainly via Mike's parents. I think he called them once and Mike wasn't around or something. I got the story secondhand so I don't know the details. Funny comment about anesthesia. Apparently I sang opera really badly when my wisdom teeth were removed. My stepson and I had a debate about why our dog should go to school in his place. Commenter, consult a lawyer about him talking shit about you online. Medical board? OP, in consideration. It hasn't damaged my character per se considering he's being called out publicly, but him approaching the hospital was weird. We're right now way too busy with another surgery on the schedule so legal stuff is on the back burner. And we are going to a different hospital. Commenter. Warn the adoptive parents about the situation. They have a right to know and can protect the child. OOP. Already done. They do live in another state so that gives them some space. Commenter. One thing? Knowing nothing about how this works, I assume you were able to get Mike's parental rights terminated given that he left. If not, I wonder if it makes sense to give the adoptive family a heads up that he's coming out of the woodwork. OP. This was a tough situation because he wasn't around and no one in his family willingly gave a DNA sample to establish parenthood. The judge that did the adoption could have demanded it, but she decided for the good of the baby and myself to just terminate both of our rights. And then the baby was adopted. I was basically deemed unfit and the father was not able to be contacted, and the court did try really hard to get him. To another commenter, it wasn't done with his consent. He was MIA. When the adoption process began, we tried to reach out and his family didn't even hold a conversation. The judge involved tried to have the courts contact him and he didn't respond either. Eventually the abandonment time frame was hit and his rights were terminated for abandonment. Mine were willingly terminated since I presented myself as an unfit mother. One more commenter. This was a pain to do? It mainly fell down on abandonment. We had to prove we tried to contact the father, the court had to try to contact the father, and we had to wait for a set time requirement. I just had the right judge that understood I wasn't prepared to be a mother and decided to set things appropriately. Their relationship. Oh, I don't mind it at all. I wanted him to never see me as his mom. I wanted him to love his family. I'm happy beyond the reasons that his life is great because I am not in it beyond a call here and there. He's an amazing young man and it's because he has amazing parents. I do get moments of pain here and there, and then I remember this kid had the best possible life. I wasn't good for him. And he wasn't good for me. It's a sad reality. I don't regret it and I'm glad I was able to bring him for his parents to have him in their lives. Mike was one of the doctors for your stepson's surgery? He wasn't one of our doctors. Just a doctor in the hospital. I spent like 2 hours in the waiting room, so I suspect he recognized me. His name was on a plaque with all the doctors' names and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I should have, I was just stressed and not really thinking. Commenter, I'm sorry. I reread this 3 times looking for the part where you said you and your family moved away and changed all your identities. Nope, I don't see that anywhere. So, this college star and his scumbag family knew exactly where you were and how to find you for the last 16 fucking years. And yet you're the monster who denied him a chance to get to know his son and be the dad he was destined to be. Oh, that's just fucking rich. What a bunch of complete asswipes. Don't let him or his douchebag family anywhere near your son or his adoptive parents. Oop, I didn't even go out of state for college. Went to the local university in town. And this isn't a massive city either. Update post, February 5, 2025, 17 days later. This is probably the one and only update I'll be doing. Because to be honest, I got other things to do and I have my main Reddit account for lurking. I'm going to start with the important matter. A lot of people were worried about my biological kid and what he wished for when it came to Mike. Well, I got his permission to post this. He spoke to Mike once a few days after I told him where he could find Mike. I won't share all the details, only the final decision. There won't be any more contact between them. The kid doesn't want a second dad and Mike wasn't willing to be in his life unless he had the position of dad. So he's going no contact with Mike. There was more to it, but it's very personal and I feel it's not my place to share it. The kid and I will continue to have a relationship as aunt and nephew. And he knows whatever he needs medically, I'll always be first in line to give blood, kidney, etc. For those wondering why Mike is so big into contact with the kid, I found out a few details via his friends. Mike can have more kids. He just hasn't had a stable relationship in years. Which I can believe since I finally had enough and decided to accept going to have coffee with him to get some things squared away. My husband came, of course, but he sat at another table to let me deal with it. I asked him to. The conversation was a shit show, to be honest. Mike brought me flowers and chocolate-covered strawberries, my old favorites. He treated it all like some date. I nipped that bud immediately. I introduced my husband and told him we were very much in love and happy, so I don't appreciate any attempts at unwanted romance. Once we sat down, he started by telling me what I knew about him having failed relationships. That he felt no woman could meet his standards for a wife and mother to his children since he already saw me as that. He claims he feels guilty for choosing college over me and our baby. He was well aware of the court dates regarding custody and that I was trying to put the baby up for adoption. When he saw me taking care of my stepson, he thought I had chickened out of giving the baby away. Seeing me be all caring for our baby boy made him think how great it would be if the 3 of us could be a family, and maybe have a bigger family down the road. He had the gall to ask me if I would consider divorcing my husband and try to fight for custody of our son. I have to admit, I laughed in his face. I probably was overly cruel, but I had years of stress, heartache, and judgmental encounters to drop on him. I told him all I saw in him was a coward. A coward that instead of staying to make adult decisions decided to run with help of mommy and daddy. That any love I had for him died the day I had to push out a full human being, and instead of knowing I had support from him, there was a big empty spot where the dad was supposed to be. That I almost ruined my life and had to throw away prom, senior pictures, and even graduation, because I was far too pregnant to party, appear in the yearbook or walk onto stage to get my diploma. He got to party and enjoy life while I had to fight tooth and nail for an inch of respect, yet we both had unprotected sex. The only difference is his DAC wasn't big enough to pop a baby out or satisfy a woman to begin with. That was a bit mean, but not sorry. After I calmed down, I simply told him I had a happy life with a man that loves me. Great stepkids are the greatest gift. A best friend who lets me be a stepmom to her children. A nephew who I adore and who, despite our history as biological mother and child, he still loves me as his special aunt rather than hates me. My family is perfect because he's not part of it and I have no intentions to live in his fantasy. And that I can't wait to get pregnant with my husband's child to add to that perfection. I also told him to leave our biological kid alone. He has made his choice and it is up to him if he ever reaches out for Mike. And also let him know I would be making a formal complaint to his hospital for his harassment. Good thing my husband took screenshots, because by the time we got home, Mike had deleted all the posts. A lot of his former friends did repost screenshots making fun of him. The silver line in all of this is that I have reconnected with my high school classmates and to be honest, they are great people. Seems Mike is in a handful that stayed in his school hypes mindset. It's been about 3 days and no signs of Mike. My husband did get the biggest ego boost when he overheard me going off on Mike and has been insufferable, in a good way. So, there's mostly good news. Hopefully one of these days we'll get even more good news since we actually are excited at the idea of having a baby together. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter. Regarding him asking you to divorce your husband and fight together for our son, outside of getting physical, there's practically no overreaction to that. OOP. I almost got physical to be honest, but I had my nails just done. He wasn't worth breaking a nail. Commenter. Very few things are worth breaking a nail, but Han, breaking one to hurt that bastard would have been one of those things. OP. Yeah, but he's not worth the $150 bill. He wasn't even worth the $14 bill at the cafe. OP explains. It was an anniversary gift from my stepdaughter. Normally my nails are like, 40 maybe? XD commenter. Of course he didn't pick up the check. Oh, we left before and I paid my part and my husband's. Don't know if he paid his. Commenter. Did he at least leave those strawberries for your husband to feed to while you recline in bed? OP. Nah, we left them on the table for him with the flour. My husband bought me my current favorite, macadamias covered in chocolate. After being married for nearly 35 years, I discovered that my husband had a side piece for 2 years. I was devastated and decided to divorce. I've been married almost 35 years, yes, to the same person. And while it hasn't been perfect, it's been alright. Kids, dog, white fence. I've got those. Our personal lives have suffered somewhat. I went from being a virgin on my wedding night to stepping out of my comfort zones to please him sexually. Household of 3. To where Saturday, it will be 6 years since we've been intimate at all. For the longest time, I thought he was having an emotional affair with his male friend, that he had fished with, but had become ill with cancer, because he would drop everything and anything for him, including plans we had, for him. Plus, there were a few texts that, while not sexual, were more than friendship. But for some reason, while I was hurt, I was not threatened. I know he is extremely ill, there is no physical relationship going on, his time is short, and once this was out of his system, he would be back to his normal self and me, his wife. I'm really sorry if my words sound crude, that's not how I want them to sound. But once he passed, my husband would be back to me. So I was gone this past week, dog sitting, house sitting for my sister, and got home last night to check the mail. There was a blank envelope with everything typed. Inside was a short note, picture above. I know who the female is, it's one of his friends. I'm completely devastated. To me, a woman is harder to compete with. What does she have do that I don't? I decided to get healthy and lose weight. I've lost over 130 pounds. I don't hear anything from him. I went to the doctor last week, dressed nicely, and he told me I was embarrassed, that his wife was running around town looking like a whore, with her tits hanging out. I had a slight off-the-shoulder white eyelet with dark jeans. Since finding this out, I've become obsessed with finding evidence. I stalk her Facebook, their call logs. He calls her an average of 68 times a day with calls lasting 15 minutes. I'll drive by her house. I'll type and delete her name, phone number, address, wanting to confront both of them, blame her, blame him. Wonder what she has that I don't, how I can fix this. Do I want to fix it, does he? What should I do? Where do I go? How? I've cried for 2 days now. I can't stand to look at him, and I'm afraid to talk to him. Update 1. So after a few days of crying and feeling miserable, I became obsessed with finding more information. Mind you, this all came to light last Sunday. Before that, I was walking around in an ignorant state of not knowing. So I started scanning phone logs, daily phone calls to and from her 6 to 7 plus times a day, 20, 40 minutes each. I had a typo in my first post. I went through his office, nightstand, etc. I don't know exactly what I was looking for, but I was looking for something. I would drive by her house when he would leave. In other words, I was going crazy. And by Wednesday, I broke. I was tired of him acting like it's a normal day, that there was nothing going on. I could not take it anymore, and I first wanted to talk to her. So I took off in my car, drove to the dog park, empty. So I drove to her house, started pounding on her security door, and ringing her doorbell. She has a ring, telling her to open her effing door, and if you're woman enough to FK a married man, you should be woman enough to talk to his wife. This went on for maybe 10 minutes or so. She didn't answer. I texted my husband that we needed to talk and that, I know. My sister is on the phone with me trying to calm me down and get me to leave her place before the police are called. In the 3 minutes, yes, he picked someone in our community, it took me to get home. Not only had she called him, she also sent him the video. So I confronted him, somewhat. It was more like he gaslit me the entire time. He said, "Get your ass in the house, I can't believe you did something so effing stupid. etc. And turned it around on me. You're always sitting on the couch unless your sister invites you out. And he didn't deny he was with her. It's none of your business. When I asked if he would stop seeing her, he said he would not give her up. She is a good friend of his. And the biggest smack in my face, he wants me to apologize to her for embarrassing her in her neighborhood. And I guess she is talking about filing a restraining order against me. So Thursday and Friday, I finished my pity party, and Saturday, I started doing things I never thought I would have to do on my 35th anniversary. I reached out to divorce attorneys. They were closed but filled out the forms for consultations. I also started a resume and applied for jobs, but after not working for 20 plus years, what kind of work am I going to be qualified for? I stayed at my sister's this weekend. I needed the change of scenery between his attitude, the not happening anniversary, and the funky feeling I needed a break. Update 2. So it's been about a month since I found out about his affair. It still sucks. And I'd like to say I've totally gotten over him, but one doesn't turn off feelings like a light switch. At least I don't. And sometimes, I think, maybe we can fix this, but then he does something awful again, and I'm back on track with my plans and goals. So I've set goals for myself and have been working towards them. My first one, get a job. I was a housewife for 99% of my marriage. Not only did I get one, I found two that I can work at the same time. I opened a secret account, not in my name, and am stashing all my extra money in it. He controls all the house money tightly, so I have to get creative. He knows about one job, not the other one though. I've gone back to school to get my degree, geared towards what I'm doing. So far, it's going well. I'm remaining positive and pushing forward, even when he gets negative towards me. You're just going to quit, you will flunk out, etc. I am saving for a small place, hopefully a little ADU or an apartment, that will allow my little dogs. Once the apartment is lined up, then I will file for divorce. I need to make sure I have a safe place to go because he will become nasty once served. So far, things are calm here. I don't ask about her, although they still speak daily, and I'm sure they are hanging out. In our community, it's like he is trying to rub my nose in it. The thing is, I'm not letting him know or see that it's bothering me at all, which in turn is bugging the crap out of him. So he threatened to take my phone away. Okay, fine, I went and bought a cheap burner phone, just in case he does. So now he has switched to being nice. He has bought parts for my car, paid the labor, bought my scrubs and equipment I need for work and school. He asked for a list and bought it. It's times when he's nice, I think there might be hope for us. But as long as she is in the picture, nope. Then he turns back into the ass again with empty threats, knocking down my confidence, and I'm back to counting months until I can move. Update 3. I'm still on my phone and just worked an overnight shift, so I'm tired. We are in the month of June, and quite a bit has transpired, some good, some not. I finally broke down and told my kids. Those were extremely difficult calls to make, and I told them everything. I took responsibility for my part and admitted I could have done things better. My kids, all older, said that while not perfect, I did my best with what I had, and that didn't excuse his cheating. My eldest wanted to come out and confront his dad and the other woman. I told him it wasn't worth it. My second son, the thinker, didn't say much but was deep in thought. My third son said, "It's about time, with the way he talked to you and treated you. I hope you're thinking about leaving." I was honestly on the fence. He would flip-flop between wanting to work on us and his actions saying differently. The past 2 weeks have been the worst. Since he has been using my son's car, my son put a tracking device in it. Yes, I have access to it, and no, he does not know about it. He would tell me he was going to one place and go straight to the other woman's house. If I asked where he was, he would lie to my face. I just kept notes until I couldn't anymore. Father's Day. I had worked the night before, got off work at 8 a.m., texted him what he wanted for dinner that night, stopped at the store, bought everything, came home, got it started, and tried to take a nap. Mind you, he did nothing whatsoever on Mother's Day. He woke me up to borrow $40 to go to a sporting goods store. I said fine and reminded him dinner was in an hour to an hour and a half. 2 hours later, he was not back. I checked the tracking. He went straight to her house and hadn't moved. So I did a drive-by. His car was parked in the garage, she was parked outside, so I came back home. I was more upset for my son. I texted him, "You need to come home, we need to talk. I know you're not at the sports store." Nothing. After 30 minutes, his car still had not moved, so I called her. Of course, she didn't answer. I left a voicemail. "I know my husband is at your house, you win, I'm done. It's obvious he wants to be with you. I'm tired of the lies, his bull, He doesn't want someone who has loved and fought for him for 35 years. I'm done. Come get his dog and his stuff. You've won. 10 minutes later, he came in with a Walmart bag and said he went to Walmart and a friend made tacos for him. I dished up servings for my son and me, then threw the rest of the meal in the trash. He gave me an attitude because she feels threatened now that I called her. She has to change her number and might lose clients. I didn't threaten her. I told him if he wasn't happy here, he knew where the door was and was welcome to use it. He was quiet all week but still a jerk, and his only concern was seeing that woman. I had melanoma removed and needed a driver, so he took me. When I got in the car, not one word, not how are you, how did it go, are you okay? Nope, all he said was, I'm hungry. And it was the 30th anniversary of losing my sister to melanoma, so I was extra sensitive. Little things were just adding up. He was forgetting things I needed or had asked for. I was at the bottom of his list. On our son's birthday, he couldn't even wait for him to blow out the candles before he went to her house. This last Sunday, he was going through the kitchen cabinets, pulling out some soup and said he was going to take it to a couple who had been stranded down the road for a couple of weeks in a broken-down RV. So I gathered a few more items, and he left the bag of stuff on the counter. I checked and yep, he went right to her house. This was it, my last bit of energy for this marriage. I texted him again. I don't understand why you need to lie. There is no dog park, hiking trail, fishing spot, sporting goods store, broken-down RV, nor Walmart on Bunker Hill. Why not be honest and tell me you're going to her house? It's obvious, regardless of what you're saying, you don't want to work on our marriage. You have and are choosing her over your family. And I sent it. I tried to call him. He didn't answer, so I texted. Didn't think you would answer. Not even 5 minutes later, he came screeching into the driveway, slamming into the house screaming, "What the F is wrong with you, you fing mother fing b?" I'm sure if I was in the same room as him, he would have hit me. I told him I'm tired of him lying to me. Just tell me he's going to the whore's house. He's been going there the entire time and yet still lies about it. Doesn't he think if I'm questioning where he is I know? He called me a few choice names and ignored me the rest of the night. I'm sure my neighbors loved it. I went yesterday, Monday, to file for divorce and got bad news. Because he is a 1099 employee and hasn't technically worked in almost 2 years, although my bills are paid, I'm not in his bank accounts. I never have been. I've always had to ask for money from him. Because he stopped me from doing his taxes 3 years ago, saying they were too complicated for me. If I were to file for divorce right now and ask for alimony, he could immediately file to lower it, and the judge could agree with him. My lawyer suggested waiting 3 months to file, as he is now working again, started this week and submitted paper bids. I'm to collect as much evidence as I can in the meantime. The lawyer was impressed with what I had so far. So, I'm planning and playing it cool till September. Relevant comments. Comment 1, I know this hurts now, but you will be better off without someone draining your life. I don't know much about this, but I think you should get a second opinion from another lawyer. 1099 forms still count as proof of income. They might be able to subpoena those and his full tax records, even if he hasn't filed them. Reply, he owns his own business and gets a 1099 from the company he subcontracts through. I haven't seen a tax return in 3 years since we file separately. I try to look when he's not home, but his office is a mess. I'll keep searching because there must be something. OOP on why she needs alimony. My children are all grown, and I just started working again 2 months ago after spending most of our marriage as a housewife, taking care of him and our kids. My youngest son is 20 but has special needs and mentally is about 12. Earlier, when I found out about the affair, I would have done anything to get him back. Now, no, I don't want him back. I deserve better. OOP on securing legal documents. All those documents have been moved to a safe place since April. OOP explains why she is waiting until September for alimony. I've lasted this long and honestly, if I left now, I couldn't afford a decent place with my son, even with my job. After everything I've done, including caring for his mom, helping with his business and running the home, I deserve it. I just want what's fair to get a safe place for my son. According to the lawyer, it could mean the difference between $500 a month and $4,500 a month. These are rough figures, but it's a substantial difference.